Okay, shalom everybody, good evening. We are on the 8th day of Chanukah 2017, Tav Shin Ayin Chet. Today we're going to have a very short class. We're going to talk about the halachot of Chanukah at the very end. This is the last day. It's a day that we're kindling the 8th candle. And therefore, we're going to run to some questions tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, we don't kindle a 9th candle. But what we're going to do with the leftover that remains in the menorah, the oil, the candle was half burned, just burned half the way. It has kedusha, any sanctity in it? Can you just trash it? What should I do with the leftover oil? Should I trash it? Should I pour it to the sink? Should I use it for other purposes? So that's our topic today, leftover Hanukkah oil. On the 8th day of Hanukkah, whatever oil is left from the amount that was needed and used for the mitzvah must be set aside and burnt in a separate fire. Kind of like Lag BaOmer, kind of like the Passover when you burn the chametz and everything. A nice party. You can avoid that, by the way. This oil has a status of muktzeh. Every time you hear the word muktzeh means that an item or something was dedicated for a special purpose. Meaning that it was designated for use for the mitzvah, and because of that, it cannot be used for any other purpose. What did you do before Hanukkah? You said, I'm going to have a special oil to use for the menorah. That's what I did. I went to the store and I bought a special container, a small bottle of very good olive oil to use. Now, did I dedicate the bottle? Did I dedicate the oil that inside the small containers? If I did, what can I do? Can I keep it for next Hanukkah? It's a whole year. That's not a good idea. So what to do? We've learned that it was dedicated for a mitzvah, so you can use it for any other purpose. You can't. If this mitzvah oil become mixed with permissible oil, and the volume of the permissible oil is at least 60 times the volume of the forbidden oil, the mixture is permitted. I'll explain that in a second. If there is less than 60 times the volume of the forbidden oil, the poskim debated whatever, it is permissible to add more oil. Okay? In Judaism, we have, Rochelle, something called 1/60th. What does that mean? For example, if I'm drinking, I prepared a Yemenite soup. Yemenite soup, it's a very nice Yemenite soup with meat and good stuff in it. I wanted to check the status, if it's boiling. I was holding a coffee with milk in my hand. When I wanted to see what happened, boom, something, a little bit, few drops of my coffee with milk fell into this meat soup. Can I eat it? Can I use it? Yes or no? Now milk is mixed with meat. Yes, I can? Yes. Just like that? If it's less than 1/60th. You know what does that mean? It means if I have against the few drops that fell, I need to estimate more than 1/60th, 60 parts against it, it's already mixed so much, so the power of the milk is nullified, completely destroyed. Is that clear? Is that understood? That's the meaning of 60 times the volume. You have to estimate. If you're talking about a few drops to a big pot, or even a regular average, even a small pot, you can estimate. You see, I have so much soup here. Against that, it's more than 60, maybe 600. Okay, it's gone. So you can drink it. You can eat it. There's no problem. Now, same deal here with the oil. My oil was mixed. My son took the oil and poured the rest to another bottle. Oh, you mix the oil for Chanukah with the regular cooking oil. Now I have to throw away the entire container. It's like 1 gallon. You know the 1 gallon bottles? What are you going to do? So you have to check. It is 60 times more on the big bottle against what I poured in. So I know I have maybe half a cup left, and he mixed it with maybe, 100 times more than half cups. You don't really take it to a lab to measure, but you have to estimate. 4 ounces, it has to be, how much it has to be? 128? 4 ounces, so 10 times it has to be 40 ounces. So it has to be more than that. It has to be, do the math. So let's say 1 ounce is going to be 60 ounces. 2 ounces, so how much is it going to be? 240. 240 ounces against this half a cup. Half a cup is around 3, it's around 4 ounces. Yeah. Okay, I told you it's complicated. Judaism is so good. always to do this with the finger. I know Doug loves it.
Yeah, I do like it.
One of the first questions Doug asked me, why are you guys doing this? I gave him an excuse. Okay, guys. Next. Now, the poskim debated whether it is permissible to add more oil until there is 60 times the volume of the forbidden oil. Some poskim ruled that this is the same as all cases where there is a mixture involving something that is forbidden only by our sages, and one may add more to the mixture until it is nullified and it becomes permitted. Others, cited by the Shulchan Aruch, rule that this case is an exception to that rule. In practice, the halacha is according to the lenient opinion. You can mix it, no problem. But there is actually a tip that we can give in order to avoid this kind of situation. What to do before Chanukah, and I'll explain that in a second. Okay. If you dedicate it for the sake of Chanukah, it's from Chanukah. You can now use it to cook your fried eggs with. You have to burn it, or you can keep it. This bottle next year. Now, when filling the menorah with oil, if someone, and many does it, if someone specifically stipulated that he wishes to be able to use any leftover oil in case the lights are extinguished before they have burned for half an hour, this declaration saves the oil from becoming muktzeh. It's not dedicated for Hanukkah. In that case, it will not be necessary to destroy the oil after the 8th day. So you're declaring, it's like on Shabbat. Okay, before Shabbat comes, it's highly recommended that every woman, Sephardi, when she kindled or Shabbat kindle before, once a year, she said that she don't accept Shabbat by lighting the candles. You said one time, and then you said the beracha, Baruch atah Hashem madlik ner shel Shabbat. You light the Shabbat candle. With the Ashkenazi, the opposite. The first light, okay, bracha, you light the candles. Then you do all the wishes, or whatever you wanted to. It's a special time for you with Hashem. Ask for all your needs, and after that, when you finish, you may turn off and on the lights, air conditioning, any mundane things that you're not allowed to do on Shabbat. You still can do it under one condition, that it's always before sunset. As long as it's before sunset, as the sunset is 5:20, and now it's 5:01, 5:02, 5:05, it doesn't matter, 5:15, you still have time to touch-ups, before Shabbat. Okay, but you have to say it once, and it goes for the whole year. Okay. By the way, why you see many women when they light Shabbat candles, they are closing their eyes and they ask for Hashem. Why they don't do it just in the middle of the day? What's so special about the candles that they do it by the candles? So I don't have to wait for Shabbat. In the middle of the week, I can light a candle or two, close my eyes and speak to Hashem. Why they do it? Simply because whenever you do a mitzvah, a time of a mitzvah, it's a time that you make a connection with God. You are on a phone, God is on a phone call now. He's with you on the same line. As long as you are involved in the mitzvah, you want to take advantage and ask from Hashem. Hashem, we need parnasa, livelihood, children, health. There's a lot of things. You have to ask for Mashiach to come. Okay? So, this is a great opportunity for whoever does it, even if the man does it because his wife is not home or he's not married, to close the eyes for concentration and ask from Hashem, okay, for everything you want. Okay. Now, when filling the menorah oil, if someone position a plate under the Chanukah lights to catch any oil that drips from the menorah as the lights are burning, it is best to stipulate beforehand, stating, any oil that drips into this plate is not a muktzeh for the mitzvah of Chanukah at all. It is ordinary oil. Although, even without making such a declaration, it is obvious that he did not mean to ever consecrate this oil for the mitzvah. It is best to make this declaration and thus satisfy the opinions of those poskim that dripping oil is permitted. Always good to be on the safe side. See, in Judaism, how important is the power of speech. Whatever you say, if you say it, if you didn't say it, the way you say it, in everything, in prayers, in blessings. Many people do blessings during the week, during the day, not the week, during the day, and they didn't fulfill the mitzvah even once. I've said it before and I said it again. When you say beracha, for example, some take the cup and say, "Bro, what's the beracha for the coffee?" Shakol, right? What's the beracha after? Everything I eat, I say beracha before, and there's beracha after. What's the beracha after coffee? So it would be, you think borein fashol, but there's no beracha after a coffee. A hot food, hot liquid, or very cold, anything that cannot fill up my mouth at once, I take small sips, there's no beracha blessing after. Ice cream, popsicle, coffee, hot coffee, and so forth and so on. Okay. So the beracha, many people take the cup and it goes like, you find, he sent me a thumbs up. So, symbol. Emoji, called emoji. So, people go ahead and say, they don't hear what they're saying in the beginning. Nobody understands what they're saying. They just hear the very end. They didn't do any mitzvah. It's as if they drink without blessing. The beracha should be this is my right hand. When always you watch someone, I watch myself in the video, it looks like I'm holding my left. It's on my left hand. It's amazing. I don't know why. But anyways, I'm holding it in my right hand right now. Don't get fooled by the camera. And he goes like that. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol nihiya bidvaro. Amen. Baruch Hashem, and you drink it immediately. There should not be any breaks before drinking. Finishing bracha, then the action. Drinking or eating. Many mistakenly say bracha and then say something or do something else that has no relation to what you did. It's not related to it. It's very important. Blessing, action. Good. Now, if someone designated a bottle of oil for use for the mitzvah of Chanukah lights, and after using it for all 8 nights, there is oil left over in the bottle. That oil is permissible to use for any purpose. It did not become muktzeh because simply designating something for a mitzvah is not affected halachically. Okay, I want you to know that the candle of Chanukah is very, very important. It's very special, and we treat it accordingly. If leftover Hanukkah candles that becomes muktzeh, because they were meant to burn for half an hour, and they went out permanently, it happens all the time. You know the colorful candles? You have something I can show me the box maybe? It happens all the time when people, they kindle the menorah, and not all of them less. Some burn halfway. Yofi, toda rabba. Talking about these guys, or something similar, or something like that. Okay, thank you, Yafa. So, this is like
cool beeswax.
Bee. Wow, I can eat it.
Nice.
You wish. It's good. Anyways, so. Anyways, so sometimes it goes halfway, and now or just 1/4, and then you see some candles, and you say, you know what? Next night I'm going to kindle something new. You put it aside. Every night you put 1 or 2. At the end of the 8th day of Chanukah, you find 4, 5, 6 candles that were half burned. You say it's a waste. I'm going to use it for other purposes. Problem. These candles were used for the sake of Chanukah. Now, you want to use it for a mundane use. What the halacha has to say? Okay. So again, just use them for any other purposes. That it's not Chanukah, not related to Chanukah. If leftover Chanukah candles are become muktzeh, because they were meant to burn for half an hour, and they went out permanently, were mixed, these guys were mixed, and confused with other candles, some poskim rule that all candles are forbidden. Now it's mixed in the box with other 50, since you don't know which is which, because you have 50 other halfways burned candles. In fact, even if one forbidden candle become mixed with 1,000 other candles, 1,000, they are all forbidden. The rule of bitul, of nullification in a majority does not apply in this case, since the candles are considered davar beminyan, and I have it transliterated. It's a little bit confusing. She beminyan, items that are sold by their number rather than by weight or volume. Even if regular candles are sold by weight in this local, Hanukkah candles are definitely sold by number, and therefore their rule of bitul cannot apply to them. Okay? This is the ruling of the Ashkenazic Jews only. However, let me drink for that. Sephardic Jews follow the ruling of Rambam, Maimonides, that a davar sheba minyan, you can count it, his pieces, is subject to the rule of bitul, as are most other items. Therefore, even if a forbidden Hanukkah candle become mixed with others burning with others during the days of Chanukah, it becomes nullified in the mixture, and all of the candles are permissible. Okay? When you study the laws of ta'aruvot, mixture, and you have, let's say, a piece of meat that is forbidden and mixed within a box with many other, so there's a lot of halachot related to it. To eat it, not to eat it, if it's 160 or not 160, you can't say 160 because you can separate. It's not liquid. The laws of ta'aruvot are complicated. Okay. We dedicate this shiur for Refuah Shelema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, for Mazal, Shlom Tzion, Bat, Shula Salama, and also, what's her name? Chana Bat Avraham, and Yafa Bat Avraham. Who else needs? Everybody catch your breath. Yardena Bat Sarah. And whoever you want to mention. Less halacha for today, and we finish here. Some poskim rule that it is permissible to use leftover Hanukkah oil in oil to illuminate synagogue to enable people to pray by their light. Halacha, however, follows those poskim rule that this is forbidden. In fact, even if the synagogue has plenty of light and one wishes to burn the Hanukkah oil in the lamp to add to the honor of the synagogue, this is forbidden as well. Likewise, the oil may not be used to kindle Shabbat light. The oil has no permissible use and therefore should be burned in a fire by itself. Okay? So don't take Hanukkah candles, oil lightly. It's very, very special mitzvah, and when you dedicate something, it's considered muktzeh for that purpose, and therefore you have to treat it accordingly and to know the halachot. Just learning this kind of halacha that many never heard, makes you think, oh, probably I'm doing so many mistakes during my life that if I don't know something like that. Okay, it's just to teach you how much we need to learn. So I would suggest to everyone to dedicate at least 10 to 15 minutes a day to open a Jewish halacha and to study 2 to 3, 4 halachot. That's on a daily basis. Imagine to yourself you study 2 halachot, 2 Jewish halacha a day. Within 10 days you're going to have already, 20 halachot. After 100 days you know 1,200, 200 halachot. That's a lot. Some of the halachot you know, some of them you don't know, and you have to remind yourself. You have to. So it's highly recommended. Do it every morning. Finish your prayer, 2 halachot. Go in order. It will change your perspective on Judaism and on Torah and halacha tremendously. Okay? Any questions? Okay, I think that we are finishing here. We are starting. This is the Chodesh. We had this Rosh Chodesh Tevet. Tomorrow it's the second day of Tevet. It's we have a fast coming up, the 10th of Tevet. It's when the siege started over Jerusalem, the first temple by Nebuchadnezzar. Bad things happen actually on the 8th, the 9th, on the 10th. On the 8th, it was, I think it was the Targum HaShivim, the Septuagint. You heard about the Septuagint, the Septuaginte, right? Septuagint is when Ptolemy the king, Greek, took 72 great rabbis and he set them and put them in a ship in a special room and gave everybody material to write with. It says, write me your Torah. Everybody wrote it. Back then they knew it by heart. They wrote it. And ever since, it was the Torah become like accessible for everybody, and everybody can challenge the Torah and debate with rabbis. A very, very hard time for the Jews because of that king, what he did for a good purpose or a bad purpose. I don't know, but it wasn't good. And then it was translated to Latin and Greek and different languages, and everybody now can challenge words of the Torah that have no clue with. They don't know what they're talking about. Because in order to know Torah, you need to read the Hebrew text and understand the Hebrew text. Or rely on a very good translation. And the translation not always do good with the meaning, and don't do no good or no justice with the meaning, the real meaning of the Torah. And it led to many confusion. Even in among Jews, and not to say among the non-Jews, that it's not their fault. They just study what's out there. So a suggestion for each and everybody: you want to study Torah, take it from a reliable source. You want to do it yourself, study Hebrew. You can always send us questions, and Be'ezrat Hashem will give you the right answer. I would like to say shalom to Aaron Medina that is watching me right now. You can write something because I'm at your parents' house. Chazak u'Baruch. I'm glad that you are working and watching Torah. We'll finish here. I want to wish everybody, we'll come back in 5 minutes with our second part of the class. But Orchot Tzadikim, the way of the Tzadikim. I think we're finishing today the gates of anger. But on behalf of Ohev Israel Foundation, I want to wish everybody happy Chanukah, have a great week, and a good month, and Chodesh Tov. Shavua Tov, Chodesh Tov, veChanukah Sameach. Shalom. See you in 5 minutes.